All right, welcome everybody to 2025 ASA season. We are here at the first event of the Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour, the Hoyt Easton Pro-Am. Welcome to the Competition Archery Media Desk. Darren Christianberry, PJ Riley, Darren Harrell, excited to be back here at ASA.
It's really unbelievable how fast time goes by. I mean, season just ended in August. February's almost over. We're here. The crowd has been amazing. Our booth at this event has been extremely busy. ASA season's here, and we're going to have some amazing shoot-offs this afternoon for everybody to watch.
We definitely do, and we don't want to waste any time. We want to jump right into the action, so we're going to go to the third member of our team, Jennifer Brooks. Jennifer, bring out our archers.
Our fifth place qualifier with a score of 407 from Leander, Texas, shooting senior pro for Matthews, Tim Yohman. Our fourth place qualifier with a score of 411 from Wincona, Jeff Hopkins. Our third place qualifier with a score of 411 from Jackson, Missouri, Kerry Klund. Shooting for elite, might I add. Our second place qualifier with a score of 415, shooting for Hoyt, Tony Tazza. And our first place qualifier with a score of 416 from Cedar Bluff, Virginia, Stephen Altizer, shooting for elite.
All right, Nathan. So, as we mentioned, this is the Senior Pro Division. So this is unknown, and for folks who are just tuning in, unknown. What does that mean?
That means they're guessing the distance. We have classes that can use rangefinders, but this class, they're using the ground. They're using whatever method they have worked on and practiced to guess the distance to the target. They don't know until they shoot it if they're right or wrong. So you're going to see some known distance classes later, but this one's all these guys are judging the distance to the target.
And Darren, the skill that is. Talk about what happens if you're like this. We should mention this is a maximum 50-yard distance with some wiggle room. Okay, we got one at 50, and you shoot it for 48. What happens?
If you miss it by 2 yards at 293 foot a second, you're going to drop about 2.5 to 3 inches at 50 yards. So you can still hang an 8 possibly, depending on how aggressive you aim, but you can very likely shoot a 5 if you're that far off. So you have to be within a yard to really try to hit these rings.
We should mention that we don't know the distances here, but these archers were given several minutes before they started to come out, look at the targets, get their numbers, and now we are through our first round. So we're going to go out to our team. Scott Parrott and Ken McElwee, they're going to be our judges for today.
All right, first up, Stephen Altizer, leader 416. 10.
Good 10 there for Steven. Steven is a sales rep for Elite Archery. Steven's one of my best friends. We talk every day of the week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. He's been shooting pro for a lot of years. This is his first time on the big stage. He was so excited today, and I was so happy for him. I'm glad to see him out there. Tony's got a low one right there.
Yeah.
That's through the line, I believe. For an 8.
For an 8.
Yeah, Steven did shoot a 10, so he'll go to 426. Tony, 423. Kerry Klund used to be a finger pro shooter, I found out today.
Okay.
Back in 2010, and then they got rid of the class, and now he's back shooting senior pro, and this is his second pro shoot down, but first senior pro.
Took a 12.
12 for Kerry. Good shot.
Which brings us, Darren, we'll mention when they get back out on the line. You mentioned he's a fingers pro. These guys are all shooting releases. We'll show folks what that looks like once they get back to shooting. But we've got Jeff Hopkins with an 8.
419, yep. And then Tim Yohman, I think this is Tim's. He's only been shooting senior pro for 2 years, and this is his first shoot-off as well.
Looks like it might be, yep.
A 10.
Okay.
417 for him. We've been shooting outside in the undergrowth, open lanes. The weather's been nice. It's been cold, but it's been very sunny. A little overcast at times today, but the transition from out there to in here, I don't think it's easy. From when I've made these shoot-offs come indoors, I try to make, for whatever reason, these targets look longer to me. So if it was me, I'd have a tendency to shoot high right out of the gate. So we did see a few high arrows there. That may be part of the characteristic going from outdoors to indoors, but they'll make the needed adjustments, and we'll see some bonus rings here before this is over.
Yeah, we should mention that we have sponsors for each of our targets. Tim Yohman's on the gas bowstrings mule deer. We've got Stephen Altizer on the gold tip turkey. We've got Tony Tazza on the Schwacker bedded buck. And we've got Kerry Klund on the Stan Releases Impala and Jeff Hopkins on the HHA Bighorn sheep.
There's a good look at Tim there at full draw.
And there's that release you're talking about in his hands.
Good 10 on that mule deer for him.
Yeah, Darren, you mentioned, it's climate controlled. We're in T-shirts in here. We were all in jackets all weekend.
I wore long underwear yesterday. It was cold. I'm not going to lie.
10 for Tim Yohman.
Puts him at 427.
Come around to Stephen on this turkey, the gold tip turkey.
Looks like a good 10 for Stephen.
What's that like, Darren? So this is his first shoot down.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's a little nervy, but like I told him, the hard part's over. Making the show's the hard part. Go out there and have fun. Shoot your bow like you know how to shoot it. Whatever happens, happens. The hard part's over.
Yeah. Is that easy to do, though?
No, but this is the goal. This is to get out there and have a chance to win, and you got to be happy with that because you can't control what everybody else is doing, how aggressive they get. So you got to shoot your game and hope it's good enough. Tony got a bonus ring. Puts him at 435, if I'm not mistaken. Back with him 1 point is Stephen.
Tony Tazza from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, owns the Archery Zone shop there. 10 for Kerry.
433, if my math's right.
Jeff Hopkins, who's won about 1,000 of these through his lifetime.
Yeah. He's got another low arrow. He needs to make an adjustment because he's obviously seen these targets short. He shot low on the first one, and he's got a low 8 on that gray ram.
Yeah, Jeff Hopkins has had a good run of making the shootdowns last year, but then he had a tough time in these shootdowns last year.
And Jeff, he shot back-to-back 8s there. He's not here for 5th or 4th or 3rd. He's liable to shoot it a 14 just to make up some ground on him.
All right, Jeff, you ready? All right, gentlemen, we'll start your 1 minute.
And it goes so fast, you don't even have time to think out there.
We're on the third arrow
already. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We shoot 5 in regulation. What happens then?
Anybody within 10 points of the leader after the 5th arrow goes to a 6th and final arrow. You get one last chance to make a move at the win. So anybody within 10 points after 5 in regulations will shoot one more additional arrow.
And there's your call, and Jeff Hopkins went for that 14 on the gas bowstring.
Doesn't surprise me a bit that he would do that.
Ouch.
That sounded very hard.
That's the turkey. It was real high. Gold tip. That was Tim Yohman.
Tony's shooting at the Impala. Good 10 right there. Looks like we're going to have some movers right here on these. I see some low arrows, some high arrows. See how this shakes out.
It looks like the mule deer and the Impala are the longest targets.
Jeff Hopkins went for the 14 and just missed it. 435. I didn't pay him to do that, but I figured Jeff's liable to do that. Ooh, 5 for Tim. 432 for Tim now.
So when we come down here, we'll see.
Steven's got a low arrow in that bedded buck too. Oof.
Just under.
That's a 5. 441.
Yeah, when we see Tony's arrow, there's a big circle that his arrow's inside of. That's worth 10 points. There's a couple little circles inside. 2 of them are worth 12 points in different situations. And then we have the 14 ring that was high and outside we saw Jeff Hopkins shoot at, but that's our score. And anything outside all rings is worth 5 points on these targets. Hopefully we can get a look here.
8 for Kerry, 4 for.
There you go.
And I will make note, I don't think we mentioned there's an orange cone behind the shooters.
Right.
There's 2 12 rings in each target. The lower is always in play.
Yep.
But if they want to shoot at the upper 12, they have to reach back and put that cone out in front of them. That's signaling that, hey, I'm calling the upper 12 only. And if they happen to fall and hit the lower 12, then it'll be scored as a 10. So when that orange cone's out front, that means that they're shooting at the upper 12.
Yeah. And folks will see a circle dead center in the middle, and that one is not a bonus ring. That's just worth 10 points.
All right, gentlemen, we'll start your 1 minute.
That was a big mix-up there. Steven went from leading to tied for second after that 5 on that bedded buck, so he needs to regroup here, get one back in the 10 ring for sure.
He went to one of the longest. That's high right.
High and a little right, maybe. There's a good look at the
target
number 1, target number 2 with Kerry, Klund, and Jeff Hopkins. Kerry's on the mule deer getting ready to fire a shot. Jeff will probably go with the 14 if I know him.
Kerry's low. Kerry's in an 8, I believe, on that mule deer. There goes Jeff.
He did go with that 14 again. This lighting too, you can see the shiny spots on these targets. They may have a tough time seeing, the detail that they're looking for at full draw on some of these, especially the black targets.
Oh, there's, just as you were talking about, Darren, Kerry hit the upper, but he did not call the upper, so this is going to be 10 points.
All right, first up.
Oh, wait, I'm looking at a different target.
Kerry's got an 8, 449, I think.
Excuse me, I was looking at the bighorn sheep. That's going to be Tony Tazza.
Next, Jeff Hopkins.
Just left of that 14.
Mm-hmm. He had the yardage right. He just hit left.
Yep.
Jeff, 443.
That 14 ring is dangerous because if you miss, 8 or even possibly 5 points.
Good looking arrow there for Tim. Must be just right.
Oh, he called upper. There you go.
Yep.
So that's what you were talking about, Darren.
Yep.
He hit the lower, but he called the upper.
Yeah.
So that was just worth 10 points. Here comes Steven.
Steven Altizer.
Oh.
An 8 for
Come on, buddy.
Altizer.
Put him back in the big ring. 449.
Hey, it was good to see, Darren. Tons of emotion from Steven
Oh,
Altizer.
I know. It's so good.
When he discovered that he made it. This one's Tony. We'll talk about that in a second. But Tony, I believe, called the upper. He usually does. Yes,
he did.
There we go.
467. Tony has put a big enough lead out there right now that we may not see that 6th arrow unless somebody shoots a 14.
Currently at 457.
So a lot of the archers tend to be, a little bit uptight, I'll say. Let's be honest. Trying to be even-keeled, not show too much emotion. But Steven was so excited to make his shoot down and to make it in the lead that he just lost it.
I didn't realize that. He was at my house a couple weeks ago for ATA show, a month ago. And he walked out in my range and was looking around on my walls. I've got some contingency checks up. And he's like, I'll get one of them big checks one of these days. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, 20 years. I've been waiting 20 years, and I'm like, man, good for you. So I was super excited for him to get in here and have a chance to win, get a contingency, get a podium. Such a relief, I'm sure, for him, but just excited to see somebody have that much passion about it and appreciate being there. It was good to see. So this is the 5th and final arrow, and I made a mistake on my math. Tony has an 8-point lead over Kerry and Steven right now.
Okay,
So
run through the scores, Darren.
right
Where
now,
our scoreboards.
I've got Tony at 457, Steven and Kerry at 449. I got Hopkins at a 443 and Tim Yohman at a 440. That's by my math.
Okay.
Unofficial.
12 on that last target. And now sits at 444 and 12 bonus rings, 1 point ahead of Jeff Hopkins, and 5 points behind Steve and Kerry. You guys all good on the scores? Any questions? All right, gentlemen.
Mike said something about a 444. I don't have a 444 on my paper.
He was referring, I think, to Hopkins. Is Hopkins close to that? I think he said someone got scored a 12, but it wasn't.
He's got an odd number because he shot a 5 in qualification, so he can't have a 44.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Betted buck was Jeff shooting at another 14. What's Steven going to do here?
There he goes.
Upper, did he call it?
No,
He did not.
Cone's behind him.
He got a 10.
That's
Tony
good.
did call an upper because he's got the cone out.
Yeah.
Pretty good looking shot on that mule if it's not just left of it, maybe.
Here we go. We got a relook
Yeah,
here
good
at
look at
Tony's
Tony.
shot.
Okay, first up, Tony Tazza on the 5th arrow.
Called upper and just left of it.
10 for Tony.
So that, by my math, I have him at a 467.
Next up, Kerry Klund, currently at 441.
Kerry on the turkey. He had a 449 going in.
Beating the final arrow.
Survey says
Oh,
12
that's
points.
going to be a 12.
So 54-61,
Next up,
I believe is what I have, unofficial.
There's a look at Jeff Hopkins.
Good look at the big guy.
8 for Jeff Hopkins.
He went for another one.
I like that look.
Just missed it.
Next up, Tim Yohman.
So he had an 8, 451 for Jeff, unofficially.
He's a 14, is a 10 for Tim.
10 for Tim, 450.
And for Stephen Altizer. He also needs a
So Tony's at 67. We need to be a 57 or higher to be in the final shoot-off. So Kerry Klund would qualify. Steven's got a 10, I believe. There's a good look at Steven. It's going to move him to a 450.
That's the one I was looking at. 10. He did not call upper,
Stephen?
so it was a 10.
Leader, Tony Tazza, 467.
Yeah, 459 for Steven.
We're
going to have 3 guys in it. Tony will shoot last. Steven's going to shoot first. Kerry's going to shoot second. So Steven has guaranteed himself a podium.
Can't do better than that.
Big check.
Your
Big check.
first shoot down.
Big check coming up, bud.
Happy Gilmore check.
Big check coming up.
All right, so Darren, now we have the 6th arrow. So we have 3 or 4 that made it.
I think 3. If my math's there, it is right there on the screen.
Okay,
67,
there we got it.
61, 59.
Here we go.
So yeah, Tim will finish in 4th. Jeff's going to finish in 5th.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now what's going to happen is we're going to see if they're going to bring out another target for the last chance archery, last chance arrow, or, oh yeah, we
They
got
did.
the Russian
The
boar
Russian
out.
boar.
Okay, and so now they're going to get some time to judge this target, and then they're going to shoot it just as you mentioned.
That's a hard target to 12 because most of the 12 rings, depending on which way the animal's face, and the 12 sits at like 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock, or it sits at 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock. But for whatever reason, with that mold on that Russian, the 12 sits at like 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So it's a little different position within the 10 ring.
Yeah.
I find it very hard to 12 that target. So
Gotcha.
maybe it's just a Darren weird thing, but I find it very difficult to 12 that target.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All our targets here are Delta McKenzie, by the way. They are the makers of these targets we shoot in ASA.
if I could telepathically tell Stephen Altizer what to do right here, I would say shoot the 14. You have nothing to lose. You're guaranteed 3rd place.
For sure. 2 points behind Kerry. Tony.
Yeah, he's 8 points behind Tony.
Do you know what it says?
So talk about this, Darren. So now you've got 2 basically rookie finalists here shooting. It's Stephen Altizer and Kerry Klund against Tony Tazza, who also has been in a million of these.
Yeah.
Pushing down on it.
How does that benefit him? Does it benefit him? Does he feel more pressure? I mean, he's got a 8-point lead, or 6-point lead. excuse
Tony
me.
is sitting there thinking, because even if these guys 14 it, all I have to do is judge this thing close enough and hold my pin center 10 no matter what they do, and I'm going to win this tournament. So he's feeling pretty good about his position right now. If Kerry 14s it, it moves him to a 75. If Tony shoots an 8, they would be tied and be broken on bonus rings, which I think Tony would win possibly. But then if Tony shoots a 10, he can't lose.
Right.
So the pressure's on Steven to try to 14 it to get Kerry to do something to give up a place. Right now these guys are battling for second.
All right. We'll start your 1 minute now.
14, buddy. 14. Steven's so funny. He's got some great stories. He used to work at a Max Security prison? He was a prison guard years ago. Sold cars. I mean, he has got some stories.
Straight right.
Yeah, straight right. He's either way high on the lower or straight right of the 14, but I think he was shooting at the 14.
All right.
8 points for Buddy. Steven puts him at 67.
Hey, well done, Steven.
Well done. Podium.
For sure. We should mention Steven's son, Logan, shoots in the Open Pro division.
Yep. Logan's a good shooter.
Yeah. He almost made the Shootdown today, and we were hoping, man, we could have father-son in 2 different. We've seen the Hopkins boys do that, Jeff and his son, Scott.
Congratulations, Tim.
So with Steven with the 67, Kerry needs an 8 to take over Steven.
All right.
Yes, he needs an 8 to take over second place right now. 8 or 10, he wraps up second. Tony needs, depending on what Kerry does, an 8 or a 10 just to win this thing.
There's a good look at the scoring rings we were talking about. You see that ring with the 3 circles in it? That's the 10 ring.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ring around it. That's a core line. It's not a scoring ring. That you can remove that piece. And then the bigger ring on the outside is 8 points.
Good 10 for Kerry.
Yep.
So it puts him at 471. Tony needs 4 points to tie and 5 points to win. So if he makes contact with that board down there, he's got this thing wrapped up.
Just has to hit the target.
Good showing for the boys in blue this weekend.
You betcha.
Tony Tazza has the daunting task of trying to catch a 5.
So now, last year, Darren, you know, in the Classic, Tony came in the lead and lost it on the last arrow to Jamie Drouillard.
Yeah.
So now here he is. Redemption.
We talked about Tony this morning. Steven was talking about his shooting group. He had to shoot with Tony today. Tony's awesome. He's very even-keeled. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. But the one thing I like about Tony's archery game is he makes very few mistakes.
Right.
Very few. And that's why he's always out here in a position to win these things. He's got a very serious archery game. Piece of cake.
And he called it, I think.
No problem. No hill for a climber. Tony Taz is the champ.
All right, we're going to go to Jennifer Brooks to talk to our leader here, or our winner.
Yeah,
Our winner here in a second. Let's go out to Jennifer. Getting our camera guy around here so we can see Tony. Here we go.
Hello, Tony Tazza.
Hello, Jennifer.
Good to see you out here.
Yeah, very nice to see you.
Yeah, so came in sitting in second, hit some bonus rings, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Congratulations. How's it feel?
Thank you. It feels awesome. I mean, coming out of the beginning of the year like this and just trying to put things together, you know, after the long off season and not getting a whole lot of chance to practice at home with the snow and the weather and stuff like that. But it's awesome. It's awesome. I'd like to say hi to my wife. I know Brenda's watching at home. I love you, babe. And just thank God for the opportunity to be out here. So.
Amen. Congratulations.
All right, Tony Tazza is our Hoyt Easton Pro-Am champ here in Foley, Alabama. Folks, don't go anywhere. We will be back with Senior Known Pro.